Test one, test two, test three, test four. Test one, test two, test. Yay. Um, so I'm going live earlier than normal, so I wouldn't expect a lot of people to be here right away. But what I am going to say to those who are watching after the live stream, which is why I decided to come on a little bit early. I know promo photos released for the Flash 804. We might talk about it in the stream. If we do, I will go back and edit that part out of the stream and make it its own video. So if we do end up discussing the promo photos, I will put a warning before I do, because obviously it will be spoilers for the episode. But yeah, just so you guys are aware of all that. Hello, Alex and Kat YT. Thanks for coming in. Hope you're doing well. And again, this stream will be up after it's done streaming instead of going to archives. So if you did miss it, you have a chance to be able to actually see it. Season 8 is very good, and I'm very proud of the writers for what they're doing, and it's doing really well. I'm a little bit worried, though, because this is like a crossover level stuff. You know what I mean? This is like a crossover level storyline, even though it's not technically a crossover. So I think it's hard to judge whether or not this season's better than 7, because we're only 4 episodes in. I think once we get to 806, 807, 808, those other episodes, that'll be one we can judge the season fully, but that's the point we're at right now. At least that's where I see it. I love season 8, don't get me wrong, but we're at the point where season 8 is so early, and it's especially like a crossover, basically, it's kind of hard to judge it right away. Right now, but, just something you can think about. Sorry. So yeah, again, for those watching after the stream, I don't know when to discuss the promo photos for 804. If we end up doing so, I'll edit it out of the stream, upload its own video. You'll see that. Schedule for video wise, 804 will be the next video I upload. My review for 804. That's the next video I planned, and that's when I plan on uploading next. So that's what's going to be going on. And yeah. And if you do come into the chat, go into the live chat, we're going to be discussing theories, anything you want to talk about related to the Flash. And yeah. I don't think Mia will be in 804. I think she's said to be in 805. She's going to be in the finale. She might show up in 804 towards the end. It'll be probably a cliffhanger, but I don't think she's showing up in 804 fully. Not like Ryan, the two Ryans and Alex are. She won't be that kind of role. I think she'll show up at the end, and go into 805 where she's there full time. She's not going to be in the full episode, which sucks because I was kind of hoping she would be in most of it at least, but. I do think the season's off to a good start, though. Like, I do agree that the writing's doing really well. We're getting the Flash we've been wanting, well, up till now. 804 is going to be different. 804 is going to be what we've been getting for the past 8 years, because they're going back to their old roots, which I'm not happy about, but... it's just probably just for, like just one part, I'm assuming. It's Eobard, not Eddie. Eddie is Eobard's ancestor. But, yeah. I do think, because we're seeing it from Barry's point of view, right? We're not seeing it from everyone else's point of view. To everyone else, Barry is Thawne, Thawne is Barry. That's why we're seeing everything play out. We're seeing this from Barry's POV. We're not seeing this from Iris's or, anyone else's. Like, I don't know how they're going to explain it, but maybe because Barry, I don't know how they're going to explain it, but somehow, some way, Barry can tell the difference, but no one else can. So everyone else, it's Wells is Barry and Barry is Wells. That's why he's a Reverse Flash and Wells is the Flash. They completely swapped lives. As I said in one of my videos I uploaded this week, it's like the Elseworlds crossover, where, Barry and Oliver swapped lives. Oliver was the Flash, Barry was the Green Arrow, and only they knew about it. No one else could tell a difference. That's what this basically is. I mean, there might be something else going on that Thawne's doing, but that's a general idea of what they're doing with Barry and Thawne right now, going into 804, and honestly probably 805 for a little bit, and then they'll get back to normal, and Barry with the gold boots, I'm hoping. Which I am glad Barry's getting the gold boots after this crossover. Or during it, I guess. I think he's probably going to get an 804. Which is good. I think, we've been waiting 8 years for that, so... I am wondering now, because Armageddon is said to have a massive impact on season 8. Like, after the crossover's done. Like, the Godspeed War and Armageddon are going to be playing a role past the crossover. So the past 2 story arcs we're going to have connected to the rest of season 8. Right? I mean, how's that? I don't know. I'm not going to judge this season yet. I'm not going to say whether... I'm going to say it's good so far. I'll say that. But I'm not going to say, it's doing 100 times better than season 7. You have to think about this as a crossover. This is what this is. Like, we're looking at a crossover event on The Flash only for 5 episodes. Yeah, the writing's doing great, but guess what? Normally, crossover writing is great. Like, it's nothing new. If Barry wanted to get rid of his speed, why didn't he just take the Metahuman cure? Because I don't think it wouldn't get rid of it permanently. I mean, look at Cisco, right? I mean, Cisco got his powers back in Crisis. Yeah, that was by the Monitor, but it still happened. Barry, he's had his speed taken away twice, and he's gotten it back. I don't think it would have mattered any other way if Barry had his speed by the Metahuman cure or not. I think it was just a way to bring in the Injustice protocols. He definitely could have used the Metahuman cure if they kept making it. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they stopped after Cicada. But, I don't know. I think it was just to get Black Lightning and the Injustice protocols in. I mean, it was a good episode. It was a good scene. It's not like it wasn't. But maybe that's a different thing than what Black Lightning was going to do to make sure that Barry can never get his speed back. Unlike the Metahuman cure, he still could. Like, there's still that speed force in him, even after he took the cure. You know what I mean? Like, that's still a factor, probably. I'd assume that's the reason. I don't know the reason, but I'm assuming that's the reason, because Metahuman cure can still leave like parts of the Speed Force in Barry, so he didn't take it. Again, that's what I would assume. You know what's funny about this season is that I've been able to assume most of what the characters are going to say and what they're going to do. And I love that because the past 7 seasons I haven't been able to, just because the writing wasn't really that good. And me assuming what they're going to say, I've seen so many people reacting to it as well. And it's like really good. If you haven't yet, if you haven't yet, what do you do at Arrowverse crossover ranking? Oh, you mean like ranking the crossovers? I would do that. If so, where would this crossover sit? Or where would they all sit? The first crossover was Flash vs. Arrow. How many crossovers were there? There's been 7. Right? 7? Or 8? No, there's been 8. I think there's been 8. Luther, I'll get to your question in a minute. I'm going to finish answering the other question. If I had to list the crossovers from weakest to strongest, as in like worst to best, right? I would say Flash vs. Arrow is the weakest. Not because it was bad, because it was the first one. I would put Heroes Join Forces next. World's Finest, Duet, Invasion, Elseworlds, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then Crisis on Earth, that's the second the best, and then Armageddon, 100% the best one. Don't get me wrong, Armageddon can be a little bit better, but I wish I had Oliver in it. That's just me being me. But it's still, I think Armageddon is the best crossover we've had in a long time. I think Crisis on Infinite Earths was 100% not good. It was really a downgrade from what I think everyone was expecting it to be. It still had good scenes, but Crisis on Infinite Earths was not that good. Crisis on Earth X was amazing, and Armageddon's like leveling that up. I feel like that's what Armageddon is. Again, leveling up. The theme is season 8. But yeah, Armageddon's 100% my favorite crossover out of all of these. What's the weakest episode so far? For me, it's episode 3, even though I thought it had great moments, but I feel like the side characters had way too much screen time. I agree with what you're saying about the side characters, although I didn't mind it. Everything with the side characters with Iris, Allegra, and relating to Joe, I loved all of that. Bringing Dion back, I love seeing that. This is the Flash. I think everyone, don't get me wrong, I can't talk. I'm happy we're getting more Barry, but it's still the Flash. Barry's a Flash. Barry's married to Iris. Iris, and Joe and Barry, they're all a family. Team Flash is part of the Flash. We had to bring them in somehow. I mean, you could argue it was bad because they got more screen time than Barry, but they lasted 2 episodes without that. I think it's pretty damn good that they went that long. So, compared to other seasons, and also, I think what makes up for that is that in 801 and 802, which are hands down the best episodes in the entire series, honestly, I think those 2 episodes, what they did in those 2 with more Barry, it gave them that leeway to bring more Team Flash into it than showing Barry, if that makes any sense. Because we needed development on Joe. We needed to know what happened to Joe. And yeah, this is Seal and Top stuff I didn't like at all. That stuff kind of drove me nuts a little bit. And I didn't think the writing was specifically good there. But everything related to Barry, Jefferson, Iris, Allegra, and Joe, all those scenes were hands down the grind the show's had. So I think it makes up for that, along with Dion as well. I think those were some very good lines from Dion. But I loved 803. I loved 802 more. And 801 was the premiere, so it's below 802. I would say episode 3 is the weakest right now, but that's not a bad thing. I love 803. I love 802, and I love 801. I love all these 3 episodes. But 802 is 100% the best for me. Just because of every scene we got in it, I love it. Again, the writing could have been a little bit better in 802, but it was good overall. and 801 was the premiere, and I'm not going to put a premiere above, like, this second episode. That's why I judge the season. The premieres are always good. And I can argue that 801 premiere was the best premiere we've ever had on the show. But I judge the season by the second episode. The second episode was amazing compared to the last, like, 4 seasons, where episode 2 was not that good for the other seasons. I think if Crisis on Infinite Earths could have been 100 times better if it wasn't 5 hours. I feel like that was a problem the show's had. Was that it was, in fact, 5 hours long. Armageddon is doing great, and you want to know why? Because it's one show with one set of characters. I mean, sure, they're bringing in Black Lightning, Batwoman, Adam, the two of them, 2 different versions, and they're bringing in Alex, but it's not everyone from all these shows. You know what I mean? We're focusing on Barry. This is about him. This isn't about what Oliver's going through, what Kara's going through, what John's going through, what Sarah's going through. This is about Barry, Despero, and Armageddon, and Thawne now. But it's just around that. Crisis on Infinite Earths had like 20 different storylines going on in one episode. That was not good. And don't get me wrong, the output that we got from Crisis was great. I'm glad we're on Earth Prime. I'm glad we have all these heroes on one Earth so we can do Armageddon. Because if we didn't do Crisis, Armageddon wouldn't be a thing. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Because it brought in Black Lightning. It brought in Supergirl to Earth Prime. It gives us Alex for Armageddon. It gives us Black Lightning for Armageddon. And Earth Prime has been really good for the show. I think it's a change for the show, which is good, But the writing for Crisis on Infinite Earths, Mark Guggenheim, he did an amazing job with all these shows. Crisis on Infinite Earths, he fell off. And he did not do well on it. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe it's the scheduling. Because I know Stephen Amell and Grant talked about the scheduling when Crisis was going on, and it was a mess. Because they didn't plan it well. Not the actors, the directors. And it would always overlap. And so, yeah. And the cameos are great. We got Smallville, which was amazing to see. Clark Kent. What happened to him? I mean, seeing Earth 99 Batman, I'm pretty sure it was, with Kevin Conroy, who I love as Batman. So, as a fan of Batman, seeing Kevin Conroy come in to do that was amazing for me. Seeing Brandon Routh as Superman again, amazing as hell. Seeing Oliver become the Spectre, amazing as hell. His fight scenes could have been a lot better, but yeah. Would you rather have Tom Cavanaugh continuing to play Reverse Flash or Matt? I love Tom as Reverse Flash, but I love him as well as Moore. Don't get me wrong, he plays an amazing Thawne. I think we can all agree there. He plays the hands down amazing villain and amazing Thawne. But we've had him for the past 8 years. I think if they really want to change some stuff up, they can bring Matt back. I think they have the leeway to do that. If they want to. If they want to end a Reverse Flash's character, do it with Tom. I think that's the best thing they can do. Either, if they want to continue the character, bring back Matt. If they want to end the character, bring back Matt for like one scene and end the character there. But I prefer Tom. I prefer Tom because I'm so used to him. But I don't mind Matt as a Reverse Flash. But I would like to see him again. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. I would like Tom, but I would like to see Matt back. At least for one scene or something. You know what I mean? Just at least when the character's done. Which might be in Armageddon, who the hell knows. But, yeah. Random question, but is Stargirl in the Arrowverse? Because I'm still confused about Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl, and the character in her own show. Okay, so I did a video on this a couple months ago when it happened. Stargirl episode 9 of season 2. I'm pretty sure episode 9. The Jay Garrick from The Flash showed up in Stargirl, connecting it to the Arrowverse. You're going to hear people argue that, it wasn't a crossover, so it's not. It is. The writers, the Flash writers, even confirmed it. Mark Guggenheim, who's literally the founder of the Arrowverse, confirmed that Stargirl's part of the Arrowverse outside of Crisis. Any cameo we got in Crisis, don't count that as getting connected to the Arrowverse. Titans, not connected to the Arrowverse. Don't count it. They had one scene, that doesn't mean crap. Stargirl is 100% connected to the Arrowverse, okay, the show. The Stargirl that we got in Legends, in that one episode, I think you're talking about, right? That one Stargirl from their timeline or whatever it was. She has nothing to do with anything. Literally nothing to do with anything. It was just a random thing they did. There's no connection to it. So, yeah, I wouldn't focus too much on that. But the Stargirl, the show, is connected to the Arrowverse now, thanks to 209 with RJ showing up on Earth 2. How he got there, we don't know. But, you know, he is the reason there's a multiverse now, so. But yes, it is connected to the Arrowverse. And I did do a review on that video. I don't remember how long ago it was, but yeah. And again, you'll see people saying that's not, but it is. Whether they want to admit it or not, that's their fault, but it is. Which I'm glad it is. Stargirl's an amazing show with amazing writing, amazing actors. And I think it really fits, so. I do want to see Flash and Stargirl crossover, though. Before Flash is done, I want to see two things, actually. I want to see Oliver come back to Flash, and I want to see Stargirl crossover with Flash. We need that. What do you think the villain will be after Armageddon? I think it'll either be Red Death. I think it's 100% Red Death. I think we know that. It's going to be Red Death. But yeah, I think it's 100% Red Death after Armageddon. Honestly, I think it will be. Have you ever watched the Constantine show? No, and I don't plan on it because it got canceled. I don't want to get connected to a show and then just for one season. But yeah. I didn't even know it was a show until, like, I got done watching one of the shows. And I started my Arrowverse server up. I didn't even know it was a show. And someone told me, I was like, what? But yeah. No, I haven't watched it. Going back to the villain remark, I do believe it'll be Red Death. It's not going to be Cobalt Blue. I know a lot of people want it to be, but it won't be. I think we need a speedster to come back. I know that'll mean Barry being slower than the big bad, but Red Death is a pretty damn good villain, honestly. In the comics, he was hands down the best villain the Flash has ever gone up against, and I think with Barry leveling up, with him being faster than ever, Red Death is the best character to bring in to test Barry's limit as a hero and as a person. I honestly feel like they need to kill off Tom's version of Reverse Flash so we can get a timeline remnant version of Reverse Flash that doesn't know Barry's the Flash. We've already gotten that, though. We've already gotten that. I think it was 213, where Thawne came back. You didn't have to delete your message. You didn't have to delete it. But okay. He came back to our timeline, and he didn't know Barry's Reverse Flash. And Barry screwed up and said, he didn't tell he was the Flash, but he's like, he knew who he was, and that caught him off guard. But we've already had the Thawne come back. That was Matt, not Tom. That was Matt Letcher that came back for that one episode and didn't know Barry was the Flash. That was his origin story. So we've kind of already had that. Maybe in Earth Prime it's different. I'd be nice to see that again, but, who knows? But yeah, we've already had that. So that's kind of, if they want to recap it, that could be something they do. But, I am wondering though if they are gonna end Thawne's character in Armageddon, because it does seem likely that they will. All at the same time, I don't entirely know. Do you think we'll see Ray / the Atom again at some point? We're getting the Atom in 804. Ryan Choi is the Atom. In the future. So we're getting him, but Ray Palmer, I don't know. I would love to see Ray Palmer and Ryan Choi both as the Atom on the same screen. Just as a fan, I would love to see that. Are they going to do it? Probably not. But this isn't the end of Ray's story. I don't think it will be. If they do a crossover again, he'll probably show up. I truly believe that. Unless it's with Legends, probably not. Legends kind of screwed over Ray, but, you know. It's just one of those things. Ray we might not see during Armageddon again, but the Atom we will. Because Ryan Choi. So. And another thing to bring up, Matt, if you haven't seen the promo photo, spoiler alert, Barry's wearing reverse flat suit, a new one from the future. Grant Gustin and Matt Letcher are the same exact height. So if they wanted to bring back Matt, he could fit in that suit. Because, they make the suit fit for the actor. And the suit was made for Grant. It wasn't made for Tom. And, again, Matt Letcher and Grant Gustin, they're the same height. So it would fit Matt Letcher. So if they want to bring him back, put him in that suit, it'd work. Are there any characters you've been waiting to appear in the Arrowverse? Batman? I mean, like an actual Batman? I mean, come on. We've been teasing it for the past 9 years. We need some reference to see him on the screen for once. Do you think when Barry gets the gold boost and somehow it makes him faster? No. It doesn't in the comics. This will be the end of the updating suits for the show. The gold boost will be that final touch. But no, it'll just be for suit design, which I love. But it won't make him faster. Barry will be faster, though. After Armageddon's done, he will get his full speed back. So, Yeah, name drop. Did I say something else? I meant name drop. Do you think I already read that. I honestly feel like the name drop, you say name drop? Name of Red Death was nothing but confirmation that he exists in the Arrowverse and nothing else. Did they name drop Red Death? When did they do that? I don't remember them name dropping Red Death. Oh, in season 5, you're talking about that episode in the future where Nora's looking at the thing and Singh mentioned Red Death, like they kill more people than Zoom. Well, that timeline was 2049 or something along those lines. So Barry hasn't faced him yet, and again, Red Death is a pretty amazing villain. So, And if it's Bruce Wayne, that'd be something. Could definitely bring in Batwoman for that, have a crossover. I wouldn't mind it. There could be so many possibilities for Red Death on who it could be. I would prefer it to be Bruce Wayne. If they go somewhere else, great. But, yeah. An evil version of Batman. But he's going to show up. Red Death is bound to show up at one point. Whether it's this season or season 9, I mean, we're going to get him at one point. I mean, that's pretty much a known fact. I can't see him not bringing him in. Just like Chronarch. You know, they name dropped Chronarch. We're gonna get him probably soon. If not, maybe he's a new villain. I don't know much about Chronarch, but he's 100% gonna be, you know, in the show at one point, along with Red Death. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Whenever they name drop a villain, they're more than likely to appear on the show. I mean, look at DeVoe. They name dropped him in season 3. He came in season 4. So we gotta look at it from that angle. If they name drop someone, they're coming in. I mean, you know. God, my charger keeps getting unplugged. Mario, I'm assuming you're still typing your message because only like a quarter of it sent. I'm assuming you're still typing it. I still feel like one of the villains will be Chronarch. 100%. One of them will be Chronarch. Just one we don't know. Is it too late to add Titans and Doom Patrol to the Arrowverse? As I said earlier, they show up in Crisis for a scene or two. It doesn't mean crap. I personally don't connect them to the Arrowverse because they really don't have anything connected to it. Stargirl connected to the Flash. I mean, those are two shows that connected in season 2. If Titans crosses over the Flash, great, it's part of the Arrowverse. Same with Doom Patrol, but I don't see that ever happening. I legitimately don't see that ever happening. Because, would it be cool? Maybe, but I just, yeah. I'm personally not going to. If you want to look at Crisis on Infinite Earths and you say all those crossovers are part of the Arrowverse now, all those shows, you do you. But I'm not going to. Sorry about that. Do you think Barry will ever become the future Blue Flash in the future? That's Savitar in the comics. The Blue Flash in the comics is Savitar. That was their version of the show. That's what the show did instead of bringing in that version of Barry. They just made him Savitar. That's what that was. So I don't think we'll see him, but you know, who knows? Because Superman just defeat the villains in Armageddon. I mean, probably. I don't know. It depends on Despero though, because I mean he is a very all powerful alien. And you know that's the thing. Eric Wallace called Tyler Hoechlin, who plays Clark Kent, Superman, and Superman Lois, and asked him to come on, but he couldn't because of scheduling. So we would have had Superman and Lois crossing over with the Flash, just saying in Armageddon. It probably would be 100 times better than what we've been getting, but, you know, that I would have loved to see Despero fight Superman. It probably would have ended horribly for Clark. Not just for story-wise, but Clark probably legitimately would have been defeated. And it probably would have been in a really good way. Maybe, you know, the telepath or whatever Despero uses, that power, it probably affect Clark, I would assume. And he probably would have predicted that. So I wouldn't assume he would just defeat them all right away. I don't, you know, see that ever happening. That's not bad writing, you know, if it fits. But, you know, that's what we gotta deal with. I do hope we get Superman and Lois and Flash on the same screen again. Or at least our Superman and Flash on the same screen again. Because I do want a crossover between those two shows. Do you think Barry will ever make his own suit with Speed Force energy or something before the show ends? Technically, he did. I mean, look at his suit, right? I mean, the helmet, that's Speed Force energy, I'm pretty sure. And, well, something along those lines. The gold boots might be Speed Force energy. We have to look at that. But the suit we have right now, and with the gold boots coming in, we're not getting a new suit ever on the show. This is it. So I'm very glad it is because I love this suit. Could it be a little bit different? Yes. But I love the way it looks. So maybe they'll do something with the suit to where Barry can materialize it with the Speed Force, like his helmet. I think that'd be very cool to see instead of using the Flash Ring 24/7. But the Flash Ring, is comic accurate and all that. So I really don't think that'll happen. Would it be cool? Yes. Would it happen? Probably not. And that's not because the writers suck. It's just because would it really fit? I don't know. Maybe there'll be a Barry in the multiverse if we ever find it again where he does do that, but who knows. This is not the final season. This is not the final season. I don't care how many rumors there are. Grant Gustin, Eric Wallace, they would have said that the Flash is ending. They would have said that by now. Especially Grant. He would have told us all the show's ending at season 8. He didn't say anything. So no, season 8's not the last. It should not be the last. So no. And we aren't reaching the Arrowverse. We aren't. Look at Superman and Lois. Look at Stargirl. Those are two, hands down, the best shows in the Arrowverse right now. And the Flash is raising its level back up. But, Stargirl, Superman, and Lois, they're still the best shows. Period. They're the best. Next to Arrow and Flash. So, when Flash ends, the Arrowverse ain't gonna die. We have Superman and Lois, we have Stargirl. We have all these shows. Legends and Batwoman can go down the hole, but Superman and Lois and Stargirl are still gonna carry it. I mean, it's not gonna die. I don't see it dying in a long time. Depending on what CW does. When Flash ends and they make a spin-off of some character, like maybe Bart or Nora, great. I'll watch it. Naomi's coming in. That seems like a good show. Who knows how it'll do, but it'll look a good show. So I wouldn't say when Flash ends, the Arrowverse ends. That's not going to happen. Especially if they do a Flash spinoff. That definitely won't happen. It'll keep on going. I do wish they did that Green Arrow and Canary show. Because that kind of ruined 809 kind of Arrow. Kind of just ruined that, but yeah, we're nowhere near the end of the Arrowverse. Unless CW just randomly cancels all the shows. We're talking about Flash, Legends, Batwoman, Superman, Lois, and Stargirl, and Naomi. Yeah, that'll be it. But no, they're not going to do that. Grant Gustin cameo in the DCU Flash movie somehow. If he does, it'll be the Crisis on Infinite Earth scene that we got in Crisis on Infinite Earth with Grant and Ezra Miller. Otherwise, no. I think that'll be the one scene we get of Grant in the movie. Otherwise, that'll be it. I hope The Flash doesn't end until at least season 10 or 11. Eric Wallace said the show could easily go for a few more seasons. So, yeah, no. It'll go to season 11. It could go till season 12, honestly, at the point they're going. I mean, if they keep this writing up, it will keep, yeah, they can make an easy 12 seasons of the show. So, yeah. These 18 episodes, I think, are helping the show. But with this crossover, it's a little bit hard to tell. But, I do think it could easily make it season 11 or even 12. It could go way past 10. least that's my opinion. I do think it'll hit season 10. I also think it could hit season 11 and possibly 12, honestly. If they really want to keep going, they could. But, up to them. I do hope Oliver comes back, though. At one point, before the show ends, before Flash ends, we need him to come back. At least for, just an episode with Barry. We need that. Is Stargirl gonna show up anywhere ever again? She'll show up again, but the question is when, and it's not gonna be anytime soon. I think Melissa, who played Supergirl, she said if Eric Wallace ever called her and was like, we need you to come back just for an episode, for a crossover, or several episodes, she would do it in a heartbeat. But it's just their timing and their scheduling, would it really work? And at the point in time of them filming Armageddon, Supergirl was filming their finale, and Melissa was jam-packed. They wanted Melissa in this crossover, but they couldn't get her. So, it's just, that's a little bit tricky to do, but if Eric Wallace, in season 10, called up Melissa and was like, hey, we have a crossover idea, your character will be doing a lot with Grant, and there'll be a lot of superhero stuff, do you want to be a part of it? She'll more likely say yes. I don't see her not. If she's free, she'll be in. Same with Steven, same with Tyler, all of them. But the reason why we're getting all these characters that we're getting, like Ray, Black Lightning, both Ryan Lauder and Ryan Choi, and Alex, for a majority of those characters, is to give them the ending that they deserved. Like with Ray, they screwed Ray over a lot on when he left. And the Flash kind of fixed that in several ways. Ryan Choi, we're finally getting him back after Crisis. We haven't gotten him since. So it's good we're getting him back. Let's bring all these characters back. Let's bring Batwoman, the new Batwoman, into the fold. And, Supergirl will show up again. Long story short, as I said before. I don't see her not showing up again. You can't tell me we didn't get one scene with Barry and Kara and just nothing's gonna happen. No, we need that to happen. Either they kill off Kara's character on The Flash with Barry, or something along those lines. If they really want to end Supergirl's character, that's how they could do it, but, who knows. Season 4 or 6 suit. What do you mean? Do you mean you're asking me what do I prefer? The season 4 or 6 suit? Oh, season 6. 100%. I love the season 4 suit. And I think I did a suit ranking video where I put season 4 above season 6. But what we've got in season 7 with the Flash suit, what we've got in season 8 with the season 8 with the suit, I love it way more in season 4 suit now because I'm so used to it. I feel like the season 4 suit was way undersold. And by that, I mean we didn't see it that much. And every scene we saw him use it, it wasn't really him running. Which, it wasn't bad, but they could have done a lot more with that suit, and they just wasted it. And I think that's all because of Todd Helbing, who's way worse than Eric Wallace, by the way, with writing. But, season 6. Season 5 suit, I love, with the no chin strap. I know why people hated it, and it's because everyone judged that one bad photo of Grant in it. But I wish we kept the season 5 suit. And just made changes to it as we go. I'd love the chin strap back, but I would like to see it without a chin strap. But the earpieces and just a suit design, I want to see without it for once, but, we'll probably never get that either. So, who knows? I mean, they're the same suit, besides one is a white emblem, and I prefer season 2 or 1 because of that white emblem. So season 2. Do you think Zod exists in the Arrowverse? Yeah. They have Superman. I mean, come on. And they also name dropped Zod and Superman and Lois. I'm pretty sure they name dropped him. So, yeah, he does. Will they show him again? Probably not. But it's nice that they name dropped him. Season 2 is 100 times better than Season 7. I don't... Yeah, Season 2 is one of the best seasons the show's ever had. It's 100 times better than Season 7. Or you mean Suit? Season 7. Suit's better than Season 2. Did I like Savitar? Yeah. The story arc for Savitar could have been better, but it was... Yeah. The ending was amazing for Savitar. The Flashpoint timeline was amazing. I know a lot of people said it could have been longer. It was amazing. I love Savitar being Future Barry and that mystery to it, at the beginning at least. But, yeah. I didn't have a problem with it. And if... I think I took the question the wrong way, but if you're asking, like, what season I like more, 2 or 7, I like 2 more than 7, honestly. Because Zoom, I love Zoom as the big bad for season 2. Because he was much better than Thawne, in my opinion. Like, if I had to rank villains, it goes Zoom, Thawne, the rest. If I had to rank villains, it goes Zoom. That's just how I'm viewing it, pretty much. I didn't really think his plan was dumb because we didn't really find out his plan until like 220. Like, we didn't entirely know his plan. His plan was to kill the Flash in the beginning, and then it changed to killing everyone, including every multiverse in the world. I mean, that's pretty threatening. And Zoom was just an all-terrifying villain that we've never had on the show, period. Even now. I mean, Despero is good, but not Zoom good. Thawne's great, but not Zoom great. I mean, Zoom brought a variety to the show that when looking back at it now, it needed now, not then, but, yeah, it worked. And with it being Jay, that version of Jay, not RJ, but the other version, I think that worked out really well for the show. That's my opinion. Do you think any old Flash villains could come back for a whole season to get their revenge on Barry? Not a whole season. What I think will happen is when the Flash ends, and it's on its final season, if it has, like, 10 episodes, if Thawne's still alive, 100,000% Thawne will be the big bad that season. I think we all know that. There's no way this show can end without Thawne being the big bad for one season. For one more season. Because for the past 8 years, they've been teasing Barry and Thawne having this enormous fight where Barry vanishes after. Like, they can't just leave that out. Like, they have to do that. I'm excited for Dark's return. I honestly am excited for Dark's return. It's going to be one of the big parts of 804. But I think what people are worried about is the writing. Is it going to be good? And that's the big question. Do you think Barry will defeat a big bad on his own in one of the graphic novels this season? Yes, 100,000%. The reason why we're bringing in other people to help Barry is because look at Despero. He is a powerful, all-being alien that nearly killed Barry 100,000 times over by now. It's more powerful than anything Barry's ever gone up against, and I know they always say that, but this is legitimately the worst kind of villain Barry's gone up against, and that's a good thing. This is the most powerful villain we've ever seen on the show. That's why he's getting help. If Red Death shows up in the comics, Barry gets help from other speedsters. So that could be a thing we see. But Eric Wallace confirmed that we're not going to be getting, like, you know, Barry needs some sappy motivational speech to do what he wants to do. Like, he's going to do it. He's faster now, or he's going to be. He's not right now. But when Armageddon is done, it'll be the feeling of 801 and 802. Of Barry doing stuff on his own. Barry focusing on doing things his way, using his speed to the fullest extent, and not relying on Team Flash as backup every 5 minutes. So, yes, I do think he'll defeat a big bad on his own. He might ask for help from, like, Caitlin or Cisco or Chester, but it won't be them in his ear 24/7 like it's been for the past 8 years. It won't be that way. Eric Wallace made that vow. He made that a promise. And I believe him when he says he's not going to go back on that. So, you know, we'll have to see. I do think we're going to get that, though. I don't think this is going to be, you know, a bunch of bullcrap where Barry needs to step motivational speech to take down the big bad. But, yeah. And as I've been saying all along, Season 8 is a season where you can come back to the show if you've left it for a while. And where you can actually enjoy Flash for what it is, and it's like the comics, where he's doing stuff on his own, where he's going faster than ever. That's what we've been wanting for the past 8 years, and we're finally getting that. If they rip that all away for one big bad, I mean, this show is going to drop. So they have to look at what people are saying. Depending on what part interlude will fall in, will define my opinions of it. If Interlude Part 2 starts at 8:06, I'm going to love it. Because Jay, Bart, Nora, Eddie are all on the episode. So yes, I'm going to love that this Interlude Part 2. It depends on what happens. I know Interlude Part 1, I didn't mind Interlude Part 1. The only thing I minded was 7/12 where Cisco left. That episode was not great, and I hated that episode. 7/13 and 14, I think 15, were all amazing, and I love the episode without Grant in it. I know a lot of people didn't, but it was a really good episode. So I'm looking forward to it. It just, we have to know who's going to be in it. It's a problem. If ever a Marvel character could enter the Arrowverse, who would you pick? I would love to see Barry interact with one of two people. Either Spider-Man, just because of their energy as Barry and Peter, it would be amazing to see on screen. Or Quicksilver, obviously Quicksilver, because he's super fast. I would love to see Barry just outrunning Quicksilver as hell, and just like leaving him back there and those lines that they can have between them. But Peter Parker and Barry Allen, I mean, come on. That's like an all-star, like, you know, they're literally the same character in so many ways. Their powers are different, but they're, like, you know, they do everything because they believe it's right, and that's what makes them the same character. It'd be great to see them on the same screen, you know, but Quicksilver, 100%. Spider-Man, if they wanted to bring him in, I wouldn't complain. I'd love it. Cisco's exit was down, bottom, horrible. And don't get me wrong, some scenes were great. Barry running people out of the stadium, Barry being like giggling, laughing most of the episode was amazing. But no, it was bad writing, cringy episode as hell. I hope for the final season, the Flash, Zoom, Dawn, Savitar come back and cause like a Flash war or a Speed Force war. A Speed Force war happened in the comics, and we're probably going to get that. I wouldn't be surprised. But we are getting a returning villain in Season 8 for the last half. Whether that's Dawn, Zoom, or Savitar, I don't know. I would hope it'd be Zoom, because we did get a teaser that Zoom's coming back, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I do want Zoom to come back, though. I do think that needs to happen at one point. Probably Thanos. Depending on what Flash does, he could probably win. Who knows, though? I mean, it'd be cool if Barry won that, but, Do you think Reverse Flash Barry kills Chillblaine? God, I hope so. No, it won't happen. But, we do know he's showing up in Armageddon at some point, probably in the episode, so who knows. Maybe he'll die. Maybe Thawne will kill him, honestly. I don't like Chillblaine, I just don't care for him. After that one horrible episode we had of him, just, no. Get rid of him entirely. That'd be nice. It'd be nice if he died, but, we can dream about it, but it won't happen. It 100% won't happen anytime soon. I don't watch Supernatural. I only watch the DC TV shows, or most of them at least. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna end the stream here. Thanks for coming in and chatting. Thanks for coming in again. This stream will be up on the channel after it's done. So if you missed portions you want to come back and see, you can do that. So yeah, I'll see you guys if something comes out like Thursday, or not Thursday, it's Friday. If something comes out like over the weekend, like Sunday or Monday, I'll do a video on it then. Otherwise, my next video will be 804, right? Yeah, 804 review. That'll be out Tuesday night as always. It should still be that way this week unless something happens. I'll let you all know. But yeah, that's what's happening this week. And then videos after, I think once I have a video ready to go for the Flash Thursday and Wednesday. So, yeah, that'll be happening as well. So, yeah. Thanks for coming in. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys Tuesday. I did not watch Gotham. I was going to, but I just never got around to it. I just didn't really care for it. So, yeah. Alright, stay safe, guys.